Hello folks, Typhon Carter here, and I bring to you another DPP SPL match. This is a Week 6 showdown between We Free Kings of the Ever Grande BIGs and BKC of the Dragonspiral Tyrants. Both these players have had polar opposite seasons so far. We Free Kings, ever since his Week 1 victory over Dredre, hasn't been able to get a win since and has been on a bit of a losing streak. As for BKC, he's been having a fantastic campaign so far, as he has only lost one match out of 5 going into this contest. So he'll be looking to keep that momentum going forward. That being said though, let's jump right into this. Rachi lead, Breloom lead. Rachi Iron hits the Breloom there and Effect Spore kicks in. So that lead matchup, pretty interesting. If that Jirachi on We Free Kings' end was willing to Iron Head turn 1, that probably tells me that it is a Scarf Jirachi with like 260 free speed, with like HP and maybe some special defense investment. Usually these Jirachis are, besides Iron Head, they're running U-Turn, Stealth Rock, Trick, or something like Thunder Wave even. So it's got a couple options for moves it can run. U-Turn's also a staple on these sets typically. BKC, again, if he was willing to stay in on the Jirachi turn 1, tells me that it's probably Choice Scarf. And Choice Scarf Breloom, free 90 free. It famously cannot outspeed Aerodactyl, so that's something really notable about Choice Scarf Breloom. But on most leads, normally the idea is that you get off a fast sleep, indicates a offensive team. Whereas for We Free Kings, if you're running lead Jirachi, probably tells me that his team is maybe like a big 5 build or like just some kind of balanced build. Let's just keep moving right along. BKC switches in Metagross here. Metagross, probably the rocker on BKC's side. And Lanius is brought out, so again, a very defensive team potentially. And yep, there's the Reflect Lanius. There's probably like a Clefable, Breloom, or something, or even a Skarm. And Swampert comes in on the Tyranitar on BKC's end. And Taunt is shown, so a bit of an unusual tech on Tyranitar. Not something you see a whole lot, but a welcome surprise to say the least. And BKC brings in the Gira as the Swampert answer. And Magneton is brought out on We Free Kings' end as the Gyarados check on this theme. And we got some nice doubling going on here. As per this game state right now, if We Free Kings was so willing to bring out Magneton against the Gyarados, that probably tells me that We Free Kings doesn't have a Skarmory in the back, because normally that's a very sturdy answer to Gyarados. And also it tells me that like if you have a Swampert Magneton makes a lot of sense, because Swampert tends to struggle to break through Skarmory reliably in general, so having the Magneton to alleviate the Spikes problem, that's another huge thing, is that normally these Swampert teams, they aren't the most sturdy against Spike stacks, so having something like a Magneton to trap a Skarmory, for example, is generally really nice for these kind of teams. Whereas for BKC's side, you got this very offensive team. You've got Choice Scarf Breloom, I assume. And then you got the Taunt Tyranitar, maybe with like some kind of resist berry like Chople. And you've got like the Metagross, that's probably like the Latias check on these kind of teams as the Draco you're switching against Specs Lottie. And like the Starmie's probably like offensive too, like maybe it's like Choice Specs with Trick, maybe it's Life Orb. And then yeah, so that's kind of what's going on right now. 10 turns in, not 100% clear, but let's just keep going right along. And Metagross just opts to boom on this Swampert. Breloom brought back out. Bit of an awkward situation here. And Jirachi body slams instantly, knowing that BKC can't really stay in, and is able to punish the Heatran. Heatran showing leftovers, so maybe it's like some kind of defensive Heatran. Not too sure. And Gliscor is revealed to be We Free Kings' last and looks to be the win con on this team, so Magneton supporting both Swampert and Gliscor makes a lot of sense. Just because like you're able to trap Skarmory and whatnot, and the Starmie Ice Beams, that does a lot of damage on the Jirachi and it's tricked. And BKC goes into Breloom. So for those not familiar, Trick in Gen 4, if you Trick and get a choice item back, that means you are locked into Trick permanently. So this is why you kind of have this weird loop going on between We Free Kings and BKC. Like, We Free Kings can't really switch in anything on Spore, so he's kind of had to stay in. Same to a BKC, nobody really wants a choice item besides Starmie, which he brings in just now. Hydro Pump goes wide on that Latias. However, the Latias is probably going to get Reflect up, and it does just that. So for BKC, I think the big problem now is how are you breaking this Latias? Like, yeah, sure, you have the Taunt Tyranitar, but again, like, Gliscor kind of just sits on it. Opposing Tyranitar is kind of a nuisance. Like, yeah, sure, the Swampert's out of the way, and oh, that looks like CB Tyranitar. Rock Slide doing 65 and 39, so gets some important chip damage, and the Gyarados threatening to kill now. Gyaracat has to waterfall there because BKC can't take the chance of a miss, and not to mention the Scarf Magneton that's kind of sitting in the back. BKC is going to get some nice chip damage on this Magneton, however, this Gliscor is a huge problem potentially, but BKC does have the Gyarados to at least kind of check it for now. And shows Thunder Fang. Not a uncommon move. It's not something you see a whole lot on Gliscor, but Thunder Fang is something that certainly is a thing on Gliscor. So BKC kind of got caught off guard by that T-Fang, and that looks to be a turning point in the match, as now, you know, everything's kind of falling apart now. The Latias can kind of send the tar semi-safely. However, that being said, the Starmie can still win the game for BKC potentially. However, the big problem is going to be that Magneton. Although, like, if BKC keeps the Tyranitar healthy, then you're in a great spot. But Gliscor gets safe entry here, and Gliscor is going to do a lot of damage to whatever comes in, and the Starmie is going to go down. And BKC concedes the game, and We Free King snaps his losing streak and walks away here with a win. Very nice team from We Free Kings. BKC's team was cool too, but Reflect Latias just proved to be too much of an issue. Even though BKC had two potential explosion Pokemon in Metagross and Heatran, not to mention BKC's own Tyranitar, was, like, again, all of these Pokemon are supposedly a threat. I think Gyarados could have done a lot of damage to We Free Kings' team, but he did a good job maneuvering around all these threats, not to mention this Starmie. I think the effects for on Breloom kind of came back to bite BKC, like getting that hacks that should have been favorable kind of was a detriment to him because of the fact that, one, he didn't have a free Spore anymore, and We Free Kings could just use the Jirachi to his advantage to block Spore, which led to that really awkward trick loop where BKC couldn't really afford to have anything besides the Starmie eat a trick. So it was kind of a weird game, all things considered, but again, well played by We Free Kings. If you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.